Gaur Premanande. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Gaur Vishtas Pudakam Guru Ganesh Shisha Sambhushitam Ch.Ch Samasta Veda Nipunam Shirupa Pantanugam Govinda Viramujvalam Varatanam Bhaktyam Mitam Sundaram Vande Vishwa Vincha Divya Bhagavat Premna Hipichapranam Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Janavatar Chaitanya Lila Vistar Karino Do Nityananda Parabja Karunarena Bhushito Yaktachano Budachincho Vavande Vyasarupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakas Ch.Ch Sarvesham Kuranartina. Okay, so we're going to continue with Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we're just finishing with this meeting with King Prataparudra and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. King Prataparudra, he went straight to the point and he said, why did you allow Mahaprabhu to leave? How foolish can you be? He was with you and you let him go. How is this possible? And he's trying to negotiate some type of meeting with Mahaprabhu, but Sarvabhauma says, the Lord is such a strict sannyasi that even in his dreams he will not meet with you. It's not possible. But the king is trying, and now Sarvabhauma is giving some service opportunity to the king. So the king said, when Mahaprabhu returns, I wish to see him just once in order to make my eyes perfect. Bhattacharya kohete ho asibe alpa kale rohite tade hekstan chahiye virale. Sarvabhauma replied, His Holiness Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will return very soon. I wish to have a nice place ready for him, a place solitary and peaceful. Thakure nikatar hoibe nirjane emata nirnoy kori dehoe kastane. The Lord's residence should be very secluded and also near the temple of Jagannath. Please consider this proposal and give me a nice place for him. Raja kohe aiche kashi mishrer bhavan takode nikata hoy parama nirjam. The king replied, Kashi Mishra's house is exactly what you require. It is near the temple and is very secluded, calm, and quiet. Etakohi rajarohe utkantita hoya Bhattacharya Kashi Mishre kohilo hasya. After saying this, the king became very anxious for the Lord to return. Sarvabhauma then went to Kashi Mishra to convey the Lord's desire. Kashi Mishra kohe ami boro bhagyavan mor grihe Prabhu pader hobe avastan. When Kashi Mishra heard the proposal, he said, I am very fortunate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord of all Prabhus, will stay at my home. So actually, the word he uses here is Prabhupada. Kashi Mishra, in his response, he refers to Mahaprabhu as Prabhupada. And this word Prabhupada, as Srila Swami Maharaj just put in the translation, the Lord of all Prabhus, the idea of this word Prabhupada is like one whom other Prabhus take shelter of. Like Prabhu means Lord, Master, and it is nowadays, Srila Saraswati Thakur, he began that custom that we refer to initiated disciples as members, as initiated disciples, initiated practitioners as Prabhu, with this very high vision of seeing them as extensions of his Guru Maharaj. And of course, it's a very wonderful practice. The only problem with finite limited, mundane persons like ourselves is we forget the sacredness of things, Really, the word Prabhu, it's a very high title, and previously it would be used to refer to the Lord or to your Guru. That was it, So sometimes it's mentioned the three Prabhus, in Mahaprabhu's Leela, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu, and they're all, like direct expansions, or the Lord himself. So no one else was called Prabhu, except maybe your Guru. So this title, Prabhupada, the idea is like a Prabhu who is so great that other Prabhus, they take shelter at his feet, Prabhupada's feet. So, and some people, they became like, when Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, it's not that he began that, but his disciples started to refer to him like that, as Prabhupada, and some of the god brothers of Srila Saraswati Thakur, they made this big fuss about this, right? Like, how can you, call your guru, how can you allow your disciples to call you by the same name as your guru? How can you do this? They criticized him for that. But actually, like Gurudev pointed out, the word Prabhupada, it wasn't like, an exclusive title for Srila Saraswati Thakur. It wasn't like that, And it was something that disciples would refer to their gurus by. It was like Guru Maharaj. We're like in our own little world here, Ch.Ch. Saraswati Maharaj, but like Guru Maharaj, it's like a generic term in India for referring to your guru, actually. Like Gurudev in Lakshmikanti knows, and Mahamanchu, they will refer to Gurudev as Guru Maharaj. They refer to Srila Charja Maharaj as Guru Maharaj,
People will also tell you, how is your Guru Maharaj?
Right. It's like a common way to refer.
Who is your Guru Maharaj?
Right. Exactly. So some persons have the idea Guru Maharaj means Srila Sridhar Maharaj only. And in some sense it is like that, We heard Gurudev made some expression like he didn't like to be called by that because his guru, he called his guru like that, And he made some Madhusudana Maharaj, no, not Madhusudana Maharaj, was it Shuddhashava Prabhu? I think it was Madhusudana Maharaj who told me that Gurudev made some, it was Madhusudana Maharaj, that Gurudev made some comment. I gave that title to Guru Maharaj, and I don't like that people will call me that, But I saw with the Bengalis, they would call Gurudev like that, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj was Param Guru Maharaj, grandfather Guru Maharaj. So, and I like that, and Shuddhashava, he did like that, so I also did like that, calling Srila Sridhar Maharaj Param Guru Maharaj. But it's so there may be some sentiment like that what we called our Guru Maharaj by, we won't, we'll keep that specially for him. There may be some sentiment like that, but it's not that it's restricted exclusively. That Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada, these are like generic expressions actually that one may refer to their guru by. So it wasn't like a scandalous thing, that Swami Maharaj Prabhupada allowed his disciples to refer to him like that. And we heard on one occasion somebody asked him, like, how can you allow this? And he said, should I teach them how to beat their guru over the head with a shoe? It's good for them to honor their guru, It's not that I want their honor, but it's for the disciple, it's good that they'll cultivate some feeling of honor. So if they feel some mood of respect and to call by some title, I will accept that, for them. And I also heard he made some comment, like, when I hear that name, I'm thinking of my guru, When they say Prabhupada, I'm thinking of, my Prabhupada. And Gurudev, he also commented, and Gurudev and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they totally respected that and happily accepted that. And Gurudev made a nice comment that now the word Prabhupada has taken on a new meaning, that it means who can spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is Prabhupada. Because Srila Saraswati Thakur, he did that. He spread Krishna consciousness in such a wide way. And then Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he also did that. So anyway, it's interesting here, even Mahaprabhu, he's referred to as Prabhupada here. This same type of idea, it's also in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's Prabhupada Padmastavaka. The same idea is described about Srila. He doesn't use that word, but that idea that he is so exalted that other lords, they take shelter. There's a few expressions like that, but there's one in particular which is very extreme. Like millions of, he says, the topmost Tridandi sannyasis attend his lotus feet. He's the crown jewel of the Paramahamsas. Oh yeah, this is what I was looking for. Great personalities who are competent to confer boons, they too worship his lotus feet. Varadendra Ganarchita Divya Param. So even persons who have this high position, they can give, vada, can give boons to persons. They can bestow benedictions. They are also. So it's worshipping him. So it's a very high way to praise someone. Not only that they're so great, any person can make some position for themselves. Like Bharati Maharaj was saying yesterday. If you live some austere, renounced life, you'll find many people start following you. But what I'm saying is it's easy to impress the common people. Like in India, people are very faithful, let's say, and you hear about all these false avatars, like in the latest avatar. And they get very impressed, because it's a beautiful thing, they're faithful people. My father, he when he was visiting India once, he likes to play jokes, he walked down the street once with these 2 fake arms, so it looked like he had 4 arms. And even more recently, Subhasini Didi told me, when she was in South India a few years ago, there was something like that, some very bogus person announcing they were some avatar or something, and there was this huge crowd around him. So they're simple-hearted and faithful people. We can appreciate that. But what I'm saying, and not only in India, just coming from Brazil, they were telling me about this. I won't say his name because we don't want to get political. But some big guy, big guru, who had a huge following in Brazil. But, he was bogus. And the police had to, end that. So, it's one thing to convince the general people, right? It's not so difficult to do. But to have such quality that other qualified persons, they are worshipping you, they are taking shelter of you. That's something impressive. Okay, so anyway, Kashi Mishra, he is referring to Mahaprabhu as Prabhupada. And this room in Kashi Mishra's house, this is what is the Gambhir, right? What becomes known as the Gambhir, that small room which some of you have seen, no doubt. Okay. So I'm very fortunate that Prabhupada will stay at my home. Himata Purushottam Vasi Jata Jan Prabhu ke milite sabha utkanti taman. Thus all the residents of Jagannath Puri, or Purushottam, became anxious to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvaloke utkanta jabe atyanta badhilo. Mahaprabhu dakin hoite tabahi ailo. When all the residents of Jagannath Puri became extremely anxious to meet the Lord again, he returned from South India. Interesting, because it says when, when they became very eager, like desperate to see him, then he returned, when their feeling of separation was at their maximum, then he came to reciprocate. It's also, because the Lord, he likes, this is mentioned in different places, he also gives some message like this to the Braja Gopis. He likes to churn this feeling of necessity and separation. And when it's at its limit, then he will give some relief. This is also mentioned in the Chatur Shloki of Bhagavad Gita. Maharaj referred to that verse yesterday also. Tesham avanu kampartam yana. You remember the verse? Tesham avan. That verse I always forget. Tesham avanu kampartam yanidi pena and dadami. I can't know. Not that that's in the other one. But anyway, when he's saying, when my devotees are experiencing this tama, this, darkness of ignorance, then I reveal myself to them. And this one way this is understood is in an ordinary sense. Persons who are in the darkness of illusion, he will grace them. Those who are devoted to me, I will grace them and relieve them of the darkness of ignorance. But this also has a higher connotation for the pure devotees of the Lord, that when Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains in his purport there, when they are in the darkness of separation, I like the way Bharati Maharaj was explaining that yesterday, this point of between existence and non-existence, you're at the point of non-existence and you can't bear it anymore, that's it, you're going to give up your life, When you're at that point, when the real devotee is at that point, then the Lord will come and give some relief, Param Guru Maharaj gives the example of Ch.Ch. Mata in his purport there. And she's cooking for Mahaprabhu in her home. Mahaprabhu is taking sannyas, he's living in Puri, and she's suffering in separation. She's cooking his favorite dishes and crying and thinking about him. And so that, the intensity of her separation, he has to come there. He has to come and reciprocate with that. And so he appears there and he personally takes that prasad, giving her some relief. So it's interesting the way this is expressed here. When the devotees are at their maximum point, they really can't tolerate it anymore, and then the Lord, he returns to give his company to them. Shunyanandita hoilo sabakar mam sobeasi sarvabhome koilo nivedam. Hearing of the Lord's return. Is that Virachandra Prabhu here? Is he? No, huh? He was coming on Sundays before, right? Not anymore. Okay. Well, it's nice when we have Virachandra here. Hearing of the Lord's return, everyone became very happy, and they all went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and spoke to him as follows. Prabhur Sahita ma sabar kora ho milan, tomar prasade pai Prabhur chadam. Please arrange our meeting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is only by your mercy that we can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So everyone now, Sarvabhauma has like the prime position. Everyone's coming to him, he has this reputation of being like one of the Lord's closest associates. So they're all coming to him. Please, can you arrange, our meeting with Mahaprabhu? Please arrange our meeting with Mahaprabhu. It is only by your mercy that we can attain the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. Bhattacharya kohe kali kashi mishra gode Prabhu jai bentaha milabo sabade. The Bhattacharya replied to the people, tomorrow the Lord will be at the house of Kashi Mishra. I shall arrange for you all to meet him. Adodin Mahaprabhu Bhattacharya Sange Jagannath Dadashan Koilo Maharange. The next day Mahaprabhu arrived and went with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya with great enthusiasm to see the temple of Lord Jagannath. Mahaprasadiyataha milila sevakgan Mahaprabhu sabakade koilo alingam. All the servants of Lord Jagannath delivered remnants of the Lord's food to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In return, Mahaprabhu embraced them all. Darshan kori Mahaprabhu cholila bahire Bhattacharya nilotade Kashi Mishra gode. After seeing Lord Jagannath, Mahaprabhu left the temple. The Bhattacharya then took him to the house of Kashi Mishra. Kashi Mishra si podilo Prabhu archadane Griha sahita atma Tade koilo nivedane. When Mahaprabhu arrived at his house, Kashi Mishra immediately fell down at his lotus feet and surrendered himself and all his possessions. Actually, the way it's expressed in Bengali is much sweeter. Griha sahit atma tade koilo nivedan. The emphasis is that he gave himself, but it says, along with his house, he offered himself, So the idea is he offered everything, but most importantly himself, Atma, his very self to the Lord. Like in the example of Bali Maharaj, he offered the 3 worlds and then he offered himself. And Param Guru Maharaj, in his introductory verse to the chapter on Atma Nivedan in Prabhupada Jivanamrita, he is like along these lines that we must offer our paraphernalia, and ultimately the pure soul, our very self. That is the ultimate thing, The ego giving, that we can give up our very, identity, our false sense conception of identity, that must also be given up. We will offer our very self, wholesale. I wholesale belong to you, my Lord, as Param Guru Maharaj said. So he offered everything to Mahaprabhu. Prabhu Chaturbhuj Murti Tade Dekailo Atma Sat Kori Tade Alingan Koilo. Mahaprabhu then showed Kashi Mishra his 4-armed form. Then, accepting him for his service, the Lord embraced him. Tobe Mahaprabhu taha bosila yasane jodike bosila nityanandadi bhaktagane. Mahaprabhu sat down at the place prepared for him, and all the devotees, headed by Lord Nityananda Prabhu, surrounded him. Sukhi hoila deki Prabhu vasar samstan, jai bosai hoi Prabhu sarva samadan. Mahaprabhu was very happy to see his residential quarters, in which all his necessities were taken care of. Sarvabhauma kohe Prabhu jogja tomar vasa, tumi angikar kodo Kashi Mishra asha. Sarvabhauma said, "This place is just befitting you. Please accept it. It is the hope of Kashi Mishra that you do." Prabhu kohe deho toma sabakar, jai tumi kaho se samata amar. Mahaprabhu said, "My body belongs to all of you. Therefore I agree to whatever you say. I belong to you, I am your personal property." Srila Saraswati Thakur, he expresses it like this in one place. The Lord, He is the personal property of His devotees. So Mahaprabhu is saying, I belong to all of you. Are you happy with these arrangements? I'm your property. Whatever you arrange for me, I'm happy with that. You can do with me. This is the power of love. That link of love. The Lord will give Himself to His devotee. Shri Krishna Karshini Chasa. The Lord will come under the influence. He will be controlled. He is so attracted by that love in the hearts of His true devotees. It's such a powerful thing, Sharanagati, devotion. Sarvabhauma Prabhu Dakim Paishve Basi Milaite Lagilasa Purushottamasi. After this, Sarvabhauma, sitting at the right hand of the Lord, began to introduce all the inhabitants of Purushottam, Jagannath Puri. He sab log Prabhu baise nila chole, utkantita hoyache sobe tomami libade. The Bhattacharya said, "My dear Lord, all these people who are residents of Nilachal have been very anxious to meet you. Chishita chatta gajaiche kore hahakar, toiche sab sobe koro angikar." In your absence, all these people have been exactly like thirsty chatak birds, crying in disappointment. Kindly accept them. So, the chatak bird everybody knows, right? You've heard of the chatak bird?
That only drinks rainwater?
Yes, that only drinks the falling rainwater. Trying to remember Srila Rupa Goswami's verse. I've forgotten. How does it begin? I can't remember. Very beautiful verse. Can you pass me Dandavat Chama Sunjudi Dasi? Can you pass me Prapana Jivanamrita? How does it begin? I can't remember. Thank you. It's a very beautiful verse. You don't have to work today, huh? You do, huh? Oh. Sunday. But I don't remember what chapter it's in. No one remembers that verse. Maybe Mahamaj, about the chatak bird. If I can remember the first word, but I don't remember which chapter. Well, it's either in self-surrender or in humility. Well, I think it's next to Ashlishava Padaratam Pinat, so if I find that verse, then I'll find that also. 7:22. Here it is. It's at the end of Atma Nivedan. Virachaya mayidandam dina bandhu dayam va gatir ihana bhavata kachid anyamam asti nipatatu shatakutir nirbaram va navam vas Tadapi kila payoda stuyate chatakena. O friend of the needy, whether you chastise me or reward me, in the whole world I have no other shelter but you. Whether the thunderbolt strikes or torrents of fresh water shower down, the Ch.Ch bird, who drinks only the falling rainwater, perpetually goes on singing the glories of the rain cloud. So it's, an expression of Ananya Bhakti, very exclusive devotion for the Lord. I have no other shelter. There's no one and nothing else. And even if, like these devotees of Jagannath Puri, they haven't seen Mahaprabhu for a few years. And in that time, they've been living like Ch.Ch birds. Just waiting, They have nothing else and no one else. Just waiting for that return. So it's very perfect analogy that Sarvabhauma gives. So in your absence, all these people have been, and Sarvabhauma, he's a true Vaishnava, he's very merciful and very kind, and he's trying to encourage the Lord to give his mercy upon these people, upon these devotees. He's this is the nature of the Vaishnava. This is the system. This is the process. And that beautiful song in Navadvip we would sing every evening, Kabe Shri Chaitanya More Kodi Bena Doya, that it describes this process there. That I will go to the Vaishnava and I will submit my prayer to them. Then on my behalf they will go to the Lord and they will induce the Lord to give his mercy to me. This is always the system. We see this again and again. So Sarvabhauma, he's a true Vaishnava, everyone's coming to him, please, you can help us to get the Lord's mercy. And Sarvabhauma, sure enough, he's like, petitioning the Lord, give your mercy to them. So, and in your absence, all these people have been exactly like thirsty Ch.Ch birds, crying in disappointment. Kindly accept them. Jagannath Sevake Nam Janardan Anavasade Kore Prabhur Shri Anga Sevan. I love this expression. You see it repeatedly in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shri Anga. Anga means body, right? So Shri Anga, like his Shri body, his holy body, and also Shri Haste, hands, his Shri hands. It's a very sweet expression. So Shri Anga Sevan, service to his holy body. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya first introduced Janardan, saying, here is Janardan, servant of Lord Jagannath. He renders service to the Lord when it is time to renovate his transcendental body. So he does service to the holy form of Lord Jagannath. Krishnadas name Suvarna Vetra Dari Shiki Mahati name Likana Dikadi. Sarvabhauma continued, this is Krishnadas, who carries a golden cane. And here is Shiki Mahiti, who is in charge of writing. Writing, I'm not exactly sure what. It says in the purport, the person, maybe this means pertaining to the Jagannath temple. Purport, the person in charge of writing is also called Dela Karana Pada Prapta Karma Chadi. He is employed especially to write a calendar called Matala Panji. Pradyumna Mishra Iha Vaishnav Pradhan Jagannath Mahashoyar Iha Dasanam. This is Pradyumna Mishra, who is chief of all Vaishnavas. He is a great servitor of Jagannath, and his name is Das. This is a Brahmin title, Das here. We would see that in India and in Bengal also. Some people, this is their surname, Das. So he's Das. And this Pradyumna Mishra, I think it must be the same Pradyumna Mishra who, well, maybe not, but possibly, maybe we'll find out, the same Pradyumna Mishra who later has that special meeting with Ramananda Rai. You know, a very nice pastime. He goes to Mahaprabhu, I want to hear from you about Krishna. Oh, everything I know about Krishna I heard from Ramananda Rai. And so then he goes to Pradyumna Mishra. Mahaprabhu sends him, go to Ramananda Rai. And then Pradyumna Mishra goes, but he sees Ramananda, he writes these nataks, these dramas. And so there are some dancing girls there. They're called, what are they called? Don't remember what they're called now. Something Dasis. And what did you say? Dasis. Yeah, I think that's it. Yes, exactly.
Dances for temple.
What's that?
It wasn't Jagannath Kapuri, right?
And there were young ladies who would dance for Lord Jagannath for his satisfaction. And Ramananda Rai, he engaged some of them. He would compose like some drama for the satisfaction of Jagannath, and so he was training these girls in to dance properly, to perform the drama properly. But in doing that, he was touching them in intimate places, And so Pradyumna Mishra saw that, and he became doubtful. What kind of a Vaishnava is this? Like also Gadadhar Pandit when he met with Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was wondering, he's smoking this pipe, wondering what kind of Vaishnava is this? I don't know about this. So Pradyumna Mishra became a little doubtful. And then he went back to Mahaprabhu. Oh, so did you hear from Ramananda? Well, I went there and it seemed a little, odd to me, And then Mahaprabhu says, there's only one Ramananda, Ek Ram. There's nobody like him, We don't know any stage where a man can become free from his senses, but Ramananda, he's achieved that state, And Mahaprabhu says, if I hear the name of a woman, I become disturbed. But Ramananda, he's more than me, He's completely detached, from the material energy. So, you go back there and you hear from him. So then he went. And they spoke all day, all night. So it's interesting, Srila Sridhar Maharaj points out there are different standards of renunciation that you see in different cases of Mahaprabhu's associates. Now, in the case of, the Goswamis of Vrindavan, they live very extreme life of renunciation, and Mahaprabhu appreciates that. Raghunath Das Goswami, he gives up food and he's just eating this like old rice that the cows have rejected, and Mahaprabhu's celebrating that, like encouraging that, Sanatana Goswami, when he goes to see Mahaprabhu one day, he goes running across the burning hot sand in Puri because he wants to avoid the path of the pandas, because he's thinking like, I shouldn't touch them, I have this, like a Muslim body, and I shouldn't touch these pandas. So he goes on this other route across the burning hot sand in the middle of the heat of summer, in the middle of the day. And Mahaprabhu is celebrating that, So this, like tapasya, this type of renunciation, he's encouraging it, he appreciates it. And he himself follows a very extreme life of austerity and renunciation. But in the case of Ramananda, and Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they're mixing with the material, paraphernalia, and they're appearing like materialistic persons, but internally they are completely detached. So we see different examples of renunciation are given there. Different standards. Okay. So where are we? Oh, it's 8 o'clock already. Maybe we'll just read a few more verses. Murari Mahati ha Shiki Mahatir Bai Tomar Charan Vinohar Gati Nai. This is so Sarvabhauma is introducing everyone. This is Murari Mahiti, the brother of Shiki Mahiti. He has nothing other than your lotus feet. Tomar Charan Vinu Ar Gati Nai. He has no other goal in life, no other shelter other than your lotus feet. He has nothing else. Chandaneshwar, Simheshwar, Murari Brahman, Vishnu Dasi Hadyaye Tomar Charam. Here are Chandaneshwar, Simheshwar, Murari Brahman, and Vishnu Das. They are all constantly engaged in meditating on your lotus feet. Prahararaja Mahapatra Iha Mahamati, Paramananda Mahapatra Iha Samhati. This is Paramananda Prahararaj, who is also known as Mahapatra. He is very, very intelligent. Esab Vaishnave Ch.Ch. Bhushan, Ekanta Bhave Chinte Sobe Tomar Chadam. All these pure devotees serve as ornaments to Jagannath Puri, saying that Ch.Ch. Bhushan, they are ornaments to this holy place, Ch.Ch. Bhushan, they are ornaments of this holy place of Jagannath Puri. They are always undeviatingly meditating upon your lotus feet. Tobe sobe bhume pode dandavata hoya, sabalingila prabhu prasad kodiya. After this introduction, everyone fell to the ground like rods. Being very merciful upon them all, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced each one of them. Well, fell to the ground like rods. It says they did dandavat, that's what dandavat means, actually. We use it kind of it's like idiomatic usage. We say dandavat to everyone, but dandavat really means like falling down like a stick. So everyone did dandavat. And Mahaprabhu embraced each one of them. Heno kale aila tata bhavananda rai, chadi putra sanghe pore Mahaprabhu pai. At this time, Bhavananda Rai appeared with 4 of his sons, and all of them fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is Bhavananda Rai, the father of Ramananda Rai. And so he has these 5 sons, and they're sometimes compared to the Pandavas, right? Sarvabhauma kohe Rai Bhavananda, ihar pratam putra Rai Ramananda. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya continued, this is Bhavananda Rai, the father of Sri Ramananda Rai, who is his first son. Tobe Mahaprabhu tade koilo alingan, stuti kori kohe Ramananda vivadam. Mahaprabhu embraced Bhavananda Rai, and with great respect spoke of his son Ramananda Rai. Ramananda heno ratna jahar tanoe, tahar mahima loke kaha na jai. Mahaprabhu honored Bhavananda Rai by saying, the glories of a person who has a jewel of a son like Ramananda Rai cannot be described within this mortal world. And we see Mahaprabhu, he has so much love for his devotees that anyone who has even a remote connection with them, he loves them. Even is it Satyaraj Khan? Is that his name? He wrote this line, Nanda Nandan Krishna, more prananath, celebrating the worship of Krishna and Vrindavan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. And Mahaprabhu appreciated that so much that he said, everyone who's a resident of the village that he's from, even a dog in that village is dear to me. Even a dog in the village that my devotee is from, he is dear to me. I love him. How broad and magnanimous is the Lord. And I really like the pastime of. It's like kind of a stupid thing to say. What is my like worth? But it's very beautiful pastime when Mahaprabhu delivers Amoga, the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma, because he's very offensive to Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu is not disturbed, and eventually this Amoga he's like on his deathbed because of his offense to Mahaprabhu. He's some reaction comes and he's on his deathbed, cholera, and Mahaprabhu hears about that, and immediately he goes running there. It's not like, oh yeah, he deserves it. He goes running there like concerned, and his feeling is he's the son of, he's a part of the family of Sarvabhauma, and I love Sarvabhauma so much, and I can never accept any offense. And that exchange is very beautiful. He puts his hand, he's on his bed, and Mahaprabhu puts his hand on his chest, and he tells him, Amog, your heart is a Brahmin, you are a Brahmin. The heart of a Brahmin is supposed to be very pure. And why have you allowed the witch of jealousy to enter your heart, And then he tells him, get up and take Krishna Nam, Forget all your worries. Everything will be fine. You get up and you take Krishna Nam. You will be purified. Everything will be fine. A very loving exchange. And so similarly, if Mahaprabhu appreciates a dog in the village of his devotee, then what to speak of the father of his devotee, Ramananda? He's saying, the glories of someone like you who has a son like Ramananda, they cannot even be described within this world. We need to find new language, new dictionary, new planet. I cannot properly express, your glories and my appreciation for you. This is a kind of love we can't really conceive. How kind and how loving and magnanimous the Vaishnavas are. But we count ourselves very blessed to have connection with those kind of Vaishnavas. One day we may appreciate, what type of love is in their heart. We don't really appreciate it, actually. How loving and how much care personal care they have for each and every one of us. Okay. Well, should we stop there? Any last comment or anything from anyone? All right.
I've got a question.
Yes.
If Ramananda was a devotee of Mahaprabhu, why his father wasn't a devotee of Mahaprabhu?
He is.
He was?
Yes. Yeah, the whole family were devotees, yeah. But Mahaprabhu, he didn't really know them, I think this is the very first time he's meeting them. But because of the relationship he has with Ramananda Rai, then automatically he doesn't know anything about Bhavananda Rai at all. But he's saying, you are so glorious because you have a son like Ramananda. Your son is so dear to me. Like that. But, I mean, Mahaprabhu had men, they were all devotees of the Lord. But not that he had personal relationship with all of them. And also, it's not necessarily that because the son is a devotee, I mean, we know that, right? It's not that the father will necessarily be a devotee. Oh, in the case of Srila Saraswati Thakur, that's not because of a family connection. No, they're both eternal associates of the Lord. And but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had like 12 children, something like that. They weren't all devotees, you know. One of them became like a sahajya, you know. So it's not, as Gurudev said once, we are not interested in any blood connection. It's not like that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he prayed to the Lord, please send me one of your own men to help me in my mission here. And so Lord Srila Saraswati Thakur appeared in his own family as a result of his prayer. But that's like a special case, really. It's not that it's always like that. But certainly the family of Ramananda, they were all devotees of Mahaprabhu. Look at Hiranyakashipu. And that's interesting because Srila Sridhar Maharaj points out, right? And Hiranyakashipu was a demon. His son was a devotee. And then Prahlad's son was a demon. But then Prahlad's grandson, Bali Maharaj, he was a devotee, you know.
Skip a generation.
Yes. Prahlad's son was Vidochan. He was like demonic mentality. But then his son was Bali. He was a devotee. So anything else? Do you want to sing Lakshmi Kanti Didi, or you want to finish?
60.
Hari Haraya Rama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Rama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopala Vindaram Sri Madhusudanam.
Gopala Govindanam Sri Madhusudanam.
Giridhari Gopinatha Mandana Mohana.
Jai Jai Vishakha Shri Bhakti Jai Bhagavan Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Swami Thakur Jai Shri Guru Guru Jai Shri Guru Nandalal Jai Namaskar Jai Sakhar Shri Jai Shri Bhagavad Jai Shri Dhamma Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Devi Tulasi Devi Jai Shri Shri Sham Kranada Giri Dover Jai Shri Kol Karta Jai Dantaran Shri Bhagavatam Shri Ch.Ch Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Jai Vishakha Vishakha Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati London Chapter Jai Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charjavanshi Jai Shri Bhakti Dima Avadutmanshi Jai Shri Bhakti Chaitanya Bharati Jai all the assembled devotees ki Jai Charjavanshi ki Jai all the world devotees ki Jai Shri Harinam Singh ki Jai You are going